Hi. If you work in local SEO or you manage Google business profiles for clients, you've probably seen this already, maybe before you had time to really dig into it. Google is deleting reviews, more and more of them. And this is not one of those stories where a few reviews disappear and everyone moves on. In Localo's data, the number of deleted Google reviews grew almost 28 times in just 2 years. 28 times! That is a major shift, and in this episode, I want to break down what the data actually shows, what it means for agencies and local SEO specialists in practice, and what you can do when those reviews start disappearing.
Let's start with the numbers. We analyzed more than 335,000 deleted Google reviews across more than 22,000 business profiles monitored in Localo between late 2023 and early 2026. This is the largest dataset on Google review deletions we've published so far. And the headline is simple. In late 2023, the number of deleted reviews in our dataset was just over 5,500. 2 years later, in late 2025, it reached more than 154,000. So we went from just over 5,500 removed reviews to more than 154,000. That is nearly 28 times more in 2 years. What matters even more is that this wasn't one sudden spike. It was a quarter-by-quarter trend. Every single quarter showed growth. So when business owners say reviews are disappearing, and when specialists feel like something has changed in Google's moderation behavior, the data supports that intuition. This is not just anecdotal anymore. It is a pattern. And that pattern creates a very specific operational problem, because most specialists still don't have a reliable way to monitor deleted reviews. Reviews disappeared quietly, sometimes one by one, sometimes in batches, sometimes a few days after being posted, sometimes months later. And in many cases, you only find out something is wrong when the client reaches out and asks, "What happened to our reviews?" By then, you're already reacting late. You have less context, less time, and usually less certainty about what was actually removed. That is the real issue here. Not only that reviews are being deleted, but that they disappear without a clear monitoring process in place for most agencies. So imagine the situation from the specialist side. You've been working with a client for months. Maybe it's a restaurant, a dental clinic, a law firm, or a local service business. You've helped them improve visibility, generate more feedback, and slowly build a stronger reputation in Google. The profile is looking healthier, the review count is growing, the average rating looks solid. Then one day, the owner logs in, notices the number has dropped, and sends you a message asking why around 30 reviews are suddenly gone. That is the moment many teams discover the problem. Not when the deletions happen, only after the client notices. And that delay matters, because the later you catch it, the harder it is to reconstruct what changed. You may not remember the exact review content. The client may not remember which customers left what. You may not know whether the removed reviews were recent, older. Without that record, you're trying to respond with incomplete information. You are firefighting instead of managing. And that is why deleted review monitoring has moved from something occasional to something standard. A couple of years ago, many specialists treated review deletions as edge cases. Now, at this scale, they have to be treated as part of normal Google business profile management. That doesn't mean you can stop Google from removing reviews. Let's be clear about that. The goal is not to prevent every deletion. That isn't realistic. Moderation systems change. Policies change. False positives happen. Legitimate reviews get removed. Suspicious reviews get removed. Some of that is outside your control. So the real goal is different. The goal is to have a process for the moment it happens. You want to know what disappeared from which profile, and with enough detail to decide whether it makes sense to try to recover that review. Because once you have the review content and the surrounding context, you can do something useful. Without that, any attempt to recover a review is mostly guesswork. With that information, you at least have a case to make.
And this is where review monitoring becomes practical, not theoretical. In Localo's Review Manager, you can see which reviews were removed from each client profile across all monitored profiles in one dashboard. You may not catch the exact second when Google removed them, but you can see what is gone and where it disappeared from. That matters because it gives you a record. And that record gives you something to work with when you're trying to recover reviews that may have been removed incorrectly.
So, what should local SEO specialists actually take away from all of this? 3 things. First, review deletions are no longer rare enough to ignore. The growth we saw from just over 5,500 in late 2023 to more than 154,000 in late 2025 is too significant to treat as noise. Second, the biggest risk is not just deletion itself, it is finding out too late. When you only discover missing reviews after a client raises the alarm, you're working from behind. And third, the most useful response is not panic, it is process. Have monitoring in place, keep records, know what disappeared, and be ready to act when something is removed.
If you want the full breakdown, the deletion patterns, the timing shifts, and what actually changes the way you respond, take a look at the full analysis. And if you want to see your client's review data directly, you can start a 14-day free trial in Localo and begin monitoring from there. One important note. Localo does not analyze historical data retroactively, so once you activate monitoring, you'll only see reviews removed from that point forward. If Google removed the review before the profile was connected, that deletion will not appear in the dashboard. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.